After 45, the problem with money is rarely a lack of intelligence. Most people already know what they should do. The real problem is inconsistency caused by emotional overload. Financial habits break not because people don't care, but because the system they're using demands too much attention. At this stage of life, attention is limited, energy is limited, and any financial approach that depends on constant motivation will eventually fail. That's why habits matter more than strategies. Habits reduce decision-making. They remove friction. They protect mental energy. In this video, we're going to talk about daily financial habits designed specifically for this stage of life. Habits that don't require discipline, sacrifice, or constant effort. Just simple actions that create calm over time, because after 45, financial success is no longer about intensity. It's about sustainability. Many people try to improve their finances by doing more tracking, more research, more adjustments. But complexity creates fatigue, and fatigue leads to abandonment. The goal of financial habits after 45 is not to optimize every dollar. It's to create a system that works even when you're tired, distracted, or busy. A good habit should make your life easier, not harder. If a habit feels heavy, it won't last. Calm financial habits are designed to function quietly in the background. They don't demand constant attention. They don't create stress. They simply keep things moving in the right direction. That's the standard we're using here. Anything that adds noise or pressure doesn't belong in this phase. The first habit is clarity, but not the kind of clarity most people imagine. This is not about checking numbers every day or tracking every expense. That approach creates anxiety. True clarity comes from knowing where things stand without constantly looking. It's about having a simple reference point. One place where you can quickly confirm that things are under control. This habit takes less than 1 minute a day. And once it's in place, it dramatically reduces financial stress. Because uncertainty is what creates tension, not the numbers themselves. When you remove uncertainty, calm naturally follows. Clarity after 45 should never come from constant checking. When people look at numbers too often, they don't gain control, they gain tension. The mind starts reacting emotionally to small fluctuations. That reaction creates stress without providing useful information. The purpose of clarity at this stage is reassurance, not vigilance. You don't need to monitor every detail to be in control. You need a structure that tells you, at a glance, whether things are stable. This habit removes the emotional weight from money by reducing exposure. Instead of asking, "What changed today?" you ask, "Is everything still on track?" And most days the answer is yes. That simple confirmation creates calm. It allows you to move on with your day without carrying financial uncertainty in the background. A calm financial system always has a single point of reference, one place that summarizes the entire situation. This could be a main account, a simple dashboard, or a weekly snapshot. The format doesn't matter. What matters is consistency. When you know exactly where to look, clarity becomes effortless. You don't waste energy searching. You don't jump between accounts. You don't mentally calculate balances. Everything you need to know is contained in one place. This habit replaces scattered information with structured awareness. Over time, this single reference point becomes a source of reassurance. You stop feeling the urge to check multiple things. You trust the system. And that trust reduces anxiety more effectively than any detailed analysis ever could. One of the biggest mistakes people make is collecting too much financial data. More information does not create more clarity. It creates confusion. After 45, the goal shifts from detail to meaning. You don't need every number. You need a few meaningful indicators. Are obligations covered? Is there a buffer? Is spending aligned with income? These questions matter more than exact totals. When you focus on indicators instead of details, clarity becomes intuitive. You can sense whether things are stable. This approach reduces mental load and improves decision-making. It allows you to stay informed without becoming overwhelmed. And that balance is essential for long-term consistency. This habit should take no more than 1 minute a day. Anything longer will eventually be skipped. The routine is simple. You look at your reference point, you confirm that nothing is out of place, and you move on. There is no analysis, no adjustment, no judgment. This is not a problem-solving session. It's a confirmation ritual. Its purpose is to reinforce stability, not to create work. When this routine becomes automatic, your relationship with money changes. You stop associating finances with effort. You associate them with order, and that association creates calm without requiring discipline. Simplicity works because it respects how the brain operates under stress. Complex systems demand attention. Simple systems provide reassurance. After 45, emotional regulation becomes more important than optimization. A system that feels easy will be used. A system that feels heavy will be avoided. This is not about lowering standards. It's about designing habits that align with reality. When financial habits fit your energy level, consistency becomes natural. You don't need motivation. You don't need reminders. The habit sustains itself because it feels supportive rather than demanding. Once this habit is in place, its impact extends beyond finances. When money feels under control, mental space opens up. Decisions feel lighter, stress responses decrease, even unrelated challenges become easier to manage. This happens because uncertainty consumes cognitive energy. When you remove that uncertainty, energy is freed. This is why clarity is the foundation. It doesn't solve every problem, but it prevents financial noise from amplifying other stressors. Calm finances create a calmer baseline for everything else. Clarity is the first habit because it stabilizes the system. But clarity alone is not enough. Once you know where you stand, the next step is reducing friction. That's where simplicity becomes essential. In the next section, we'll talk about the habit of simplification, how removing unnecessary complexity creates momentum instead of resistance, and why fewer decisions often lead to better outcomes, especially after 45. Complexity feels productive, but it quietly drains energy. Every additional account, rule, or exception demands attention. Over time, this attention becomes fatigue. After 45, fatigue is not a small inconvenience. It directly affects consistency. A system that requires frequent decisions will eventually be ignored. Simplification is not about doing less with intention. It's about removing friction so the system can function without constant input. When financial life becomes simpler, decisions feel lighter. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop postponing actions. And that reduction in internal resistance is what allows progress to continue quietly. Simplification begins with identifying what no longer serves a clear purpose. This could be multiple accounts with overlapping roles, tools that require frequent updates, or rules that once made sense but now feel restrictive. After 45, priorities change. Systems must change with them. The goal is not to optimize every element, but to ask a simple question. Does this reduce stress or increase it? If something adds complexity without adding clarity, it becomes a liability. Removing it creates immediate relief. And relief is often the first sign that simplification is working. Every decision consumes mental energy. When systems require too many choices, consistency suffers. Simplification reduces decision points. Fewer categories, fewer transfers, fewer rules. This doesn't reduce control. It increases it. When choices are limited, follow-through improves. The system becomes predictable. And predictability creates calm. This habit is especially powerful because it works even on difficult days. When energy is low, simple systems continue to function. That reliability is what makes simplification essential after 45. Many people resist simplification because they equate complexity with control. But complexity often creates the opposite. When systems become too detailed, they stop being actively managed. Control shifts from awareness to assumption. A simplified system keeps you engaged at the right level. You remain informed without being overwhelmed. You know what matters without tracking everything. This balance preserves confidence, and confidence supports better decisions over time. True control comes from clarity and consistency, not from detail. Simplification does not mean removing safety. It means redefining it. Safety after 45 comes from buffers, flexibility, and clarity, not from complexity. A simplified system makes it easier to see whether safety is in place. You can quickly assess risk. You can respond faster to change. Complexity hides problems. Simplicity reveals them early, and early awareness is what prevents crises. This is why simplification increases security rather than reducing it. There is a psychological comfort that comes from order. When financial systems feel clean and intentional, stress decreases naturally. You don't need constant reassurance. You trust the structure. This trust changes behavior. You become less reactive, less impulsive. Decisions are made from calm rather than urgency. Over time, this emotional stability compounds. Money stops being a source of tension and becomes a stable background element of life. That shift alone improves overall well-being. Once simplicity is in place, the system becomes easier to manage. But even the simplest system can fail if emotions take over. That's why the next habit focuses on emotional control, not by suppressing feelings, but by designing systems that reduce emotional triggers. In the next section, we'll explore how emotional regulation becomes one of the most important financial skills after 45. Most financial mistakes are not caused by lack of knowledge. They are caused by emotional reactions. Fear, urgency, and comparison distort judgment. After 45, these emotions often become stronger because the stakes feel higher, time feels more limited, past experiences influence perception. This makes emotional control essential, not by ignoring feelings, but by preventing them from dictating decisions. A calm financial system anticipates emotional responses and reduces their impact. It creates distance between feeling and action. That distance is where better decisions happen. Emotional control begins with awareness. Everyone has patterns. Some react to fear by freezing, others react by taking unnecessary risks. These reactions are automatic. They don't require conscious thought. After 45, it becomes important to recognize these patterns without judgment. Awareness creates choice. When you know how you tend to react, you can design systems that limit exposure to triggers. This doesn't eliminate emotion, but it reduces its influence. And reducing influence is enough to protect long-term stability. The simplest way to control emotional decisions is to slow them down. Urgent decisions are rarely necessary. Most financial actions can wait. Creating a rule that introduces a pause protects you from acting on impulse. This pause doesn't need to be long. Sometimes one night is enough. Distance allows emotion to settle, logic returns, and the decision often changes. This habit alone prevents many costly mistakes. Emotional reactions are often triggered by noise. News, opinions, and constant updates amplify fear and excitement. After 45, reducing exposure becomes a form of protection. You need information that supports your system, not disrupts it. Rules reduce emotional involvement. When decisions are guided by predefined rules, emotion has less space to interfere. These rules should be simple and few. Complex rules are ignored. Simple rules are followed. Rules create consistency. They protect you from reacting to short-term fluctuations. Emotions are not the problem. They provide information. Fear signals risk. Excitement signals opportunity. The issue is acting on them immediately. Emotional control doesn't mean suppression. It means interpretation. You work with your emotions instead of against them. That cooperation creates calm. Once emotional reactions are managed, the system becomes more stable. But stability improves even further when effort is reduced. That's where automation comes in. Automation is not about convenience. It's about reliability. After 45, consistency matters more than effort. Automated actions happen without emotional interference. They don't depend on motivation or memory. This removes many common points of failure. When key financial actions are automated, stability increases naturally. This habit transforms intention into execution. Not everything needs automation, only the actions that support stability. Automation creates rhythm, and rhythm creates predictability. Predictability reduces stress. This is why automation is such a powerful habit after 45. Some people fear automation because they associate it with loss of control. In reality, automation increases control by reducing errors. You decide the rules, the system follows them. Control shifts from constant monitoring to intentional design. A common mistake is adjusting automated systems too often. Frequent changes reintroduce emotional decision-making. Automation works best when left alone. Trust the process. Review periodically, not constantly. After 45, patience becomes a strategic advantage. The greatest benefit of automation is peace of mind. When key actions are handled automatically, uncertainty decreases. You don't feel pressure to remember details. This mental relief improves overall well-being. Money becomes predictable. Automation does not eliminate review, it defines it. Reviews should be scheduled, not reactive. A monthly or quarterly check is enough. During these reviews, you confirm alignment. You don't chase performance, you verify stability. This approach keeps the system relevant. With automation in place, the system operates smoothly. The final habit ensures it remains aligned over time. In the next section, we'll discuss the habit of calm review, how intentional reflection maintains balance without reintroducing stress. Review is not about finding problems, it's about maintaining alignment. After 45, the goal of review shifts from correction to confirmation. You're not looking for mistakes, you're confirming that the system still fits your life. This review should feel neutral, not stressful. Frequency matters. Too often creates anxiety, too rarely creates detachment. The right rhythm feels supportive, not intrusive. During review, the key question is simple. Does this still support the life I want? If the answer is yes, no change is needed. Stability is preserved. Clarity, simplicity, emotional control, automation, and calm review are not separate practices. They reinforce each other. Together, they form a system designed for this stage of life, a system that respects limited energy, changing priorities, and peace of mind. Financial success after 45 is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters consistently. These habits are not complicated. When applied together, they reduce stress and increase confidence. Money stops being a source of pressure and becomes a supportive system. If this approach resonates with you, continue building habits that protect your energy and support your life. Because progress at this stage is not about speed, it's about calm direction, sustained over time.